Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Welcome, welcome, one and all to the Daily Huddle. My name is Chase Steele Greye. If you're here for the first time, welcome. It is a pleasure to have you here. I am a vocalist, a musician, a photographer, a host, a public speaker, many things that I love to do. I am so happy to be with the Daily Huddle for as long as I've been. It has been a grand pleasure, and you will reap the benefits should you choose to stay with us on the days, Monday through Friday. I hope you do come back. But today, a little different today. This topic, and I've spoken about this before many times, but the connection between music, emotion, and vitality. I wanted to kind of do a solo conversation on this today because there's so many things that are connected with music. And you may say to yourself, well, this particular question is a no-brainer. Of course, it is connected, but that's really not so much why I chose this topic. I chose the topic because there are all these pieces to this particular topic, and I wanted to first kind of read off this list of songs. I'm just going to read off this list of songs just in the beginning, and I want to see what happens to you after I read this list. Okay. Here's the list of songs: Walking on Sunshine, Dancing Queen, Good Vibrations, Lovely Day, I Got a Feeling, Three Little Birds, Shiny Happy People, I Will Survive, Uptown Girl, Happy, Beautiful Day, Eye of the Tiger, Get Up, James Brown, Feel Like Being a Sex Machine. When I said those titles, inevitably, one of you heard something that you recognized or a particular connection to a song that created a particular emotion. And that is, to me, absolutely fascinating because I didn't play any music, right? I just said the title of a particular song. I wrote this list down because I have these songs in my head from being a musician for as long as I have been. And I wanted to bring up the fact that there's a man, I don't know how many of you know him. His name is Oliver Sacks. He died quite a few years ago, but he wrote a book called Musicophilia, which I think is an amazing book. It's Tales of Music and the Brain. And he talks about these specific things that happen with the neurological paths in the brain and how even patients that he's been with that were not speaking or not moving instantly when music came on, it changed everything that was in the room in that moment, like almost instantaneously, right? Of course, the book goes deeper into many, many things. And he has a quote, and the quote is, music is a remedy, a tonic, an orange juice for the ear. I thought that is just amazing. Like, I love that. I think we all know, even if we're not breaking it down into medical terms, that when the music is affecting us or if it processes certain emotions, right? I believe it's connected to the limbic system, if I'm not correct, if I am correct. And that actually even supersedes the power of language. So music is going deeper than our actual connection with language. Think about that. That is really, really powerful. So we're speaking, you're hearing me, I'm hearing you. When music comes on, it completely engulfs everything. It goes even further than our communication together. So there was this concept, and I wrote it down. The three questions, right? Is the emotion in the musician, the composer, whomever is pushing the music out, is the emotion in the music so it embodies the emotion, or is the emotion in the listener so it arouses emotion? Now, I would say we've been inside all three of those, right? Of course, if you're not a musician or composer, I don't mean it in that way, but we've been on all sides of that. And what fascinates me is that we are in a specific place and time, and just something can come on and change our complete system. To me, when I read that list, um, the one that stuck out a lot to me is the is Walking on Sunshine or Get Up, Sex Machine by James Brown. I've performed those songs. I've seen the effect of those songs on people. And it amazes me because it doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing. You could actually be in an extremely bad mood for some people and hear one of those songs, and all of a sudden, something changes in your mind. Something changes right away. Now, we might be, as I was doing some research a while ago, because I was presenting this topic before in another place, I remember speaking and saying, remember that some composers are writing music. They're not sad when they're writing the sad song. However, that song can somehow affect the listener in a sad way because it can pull up some emotion. Now, think about that. It wasn't my particular focus to make you sad performing a song or writing the song. Yet, when you hear it, somehow you attach that to something that's going on with you, and then it creates this emotion. Of course, this is all fascinating to me because this is what I do. But for the outside person, right? You, because you're you just having your experience. So when I was looking at levels, it was something that I wanted to say, and I want to make sure that I say it the correct way. With the songs and the emotion, there are all these fascinating things. And please, and or if you're interested in this topic, please pick up this book. And incidentally, okay, I do not know what just happened, but it happened and we're back. Wow, that was crazy. I was going to say, if this is your first time being with us today, please make sure to subscribe to us. You, um, can everybody hear me? That was really weird. It shut off like that.
You're cutting in and out, Trace, all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening. I have a lot of power. I'm good. Doesn't look weak at all. Am I cutting it out still?
Well, not so much right now,
Hmm.
but it was going on. I put it in the chat.
So sorry. I don't know what's happening. Everything looks fine, looks powerful, everything. Isn't that weird? Okay. Sorry about that, guys. So I'm wondering if, as I'm explaining these things to you, you're getting a feeling of what I'm saying, or it triggers in the mind. That's how powerful it is. So when we speak about people through music and emotion and vitality, I would guarantee that each one of you within the sound of my voice can say there's a song that does something to you, that when you put it on, immediately you feel these emotions, whether it's sad, whether it's happy, if it reminds you of something in your mind. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to bring the discussion up, because sometimes we don't even realize it's happened to me so many times. I've been on stage singing in a public arena, and something happens that pushes an emotion into my brain and out my heart. And I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? It's there. It's almost like an invisible uh, um, and I believe that it is connected beyond the show of that. Right? When you talk about your emotions, how many times is it a specific song or a specific something affects you and you have no idea why it happened? It just, you just emote out. I would like at least just one person to chime in and give me an example of that, or how you felt when I read those song titles. Which one of those stuck out for you? Anyone?
Yeah.
Florence.
Yes, I'm gonna say all of what you're saying is making total sense to me.
Right.
Jump, well, you didn't say that one for me, but I like jump for your love. I
Oh,
I get,
jump. Right, right, right,
oh
right, right.
wow. Oh, I get like that song just does something for me. And the other one is happy. Happy, by what's his name? The guy that
Pharrell.
sang that one. Yes. Oh boy, those do a lot for me. But all of what you're saying is true. I worked, I'm a nurse, so
Oh, you know.
I worked with dementia patients, patients with strokes, patients with all sorts of different situations, and I always use the music to inspire them. And I just remember one guy, he never spoke at all, but if I, and if I said, this Nat Code song, oh, ah, oh, if I only said, I walked into to the job and I saw him lying, in the chair, and I would start singing, um, are you, do you hear them singing? The train gang. Oh my God. He would be so joyful, and he would actually start speaking. He would, I say, how are you? Good, good, good. And he would be so animated. And so all of what I relate to all of what you're saying. Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah.
I I I want to tell you a short story. So I was hired to sing in a uh, I don't know, there's different terms, but basically a place where there are a lot of senior citizens. We can call it any kind of home that you want, right? Everyone calls it different, but so let's say there were 30 or 40 people there, right? It was a nursing center. It was a beautiful place. And I was hired to sing around the hallway. Okay, so the hallway had 40, 50 people. And all I was supposed to do is to go into each room and sing a song. Each room had one person, two people, sometimes four people. And I remember specifically going into this one room. I just can't get it out of my head. When I went into the room, I had my speaker on a cart because it was wireless, and my microphone was wireless. And when I rolled into the room, there was a guy sitting in the middle of the room, an attendant, and there was a bed, two beds on each side. And when I rolled in the bed in the room, everybody was sleeping. I didn't even see any faces. They were like under their covers. And I was like, oh, I said, how are you? He said, hey, how are you? I said, yeah, I'm here to sing some songs, but I'll come back. Everybody's sleeping. He goes, no, 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 no. Do what you were gonna do. I was like, but aren't they sleeping? He goes, not really. It's tricky with these people. Just do what you have to do. They're gonna really like it. I said, okay. So I started singing this song, and the song that I sang was uh, Stardust, the old classic Stardust, right? And maybe two sentences into the song, I saw these little toes moving on the back bed, just moving under the covers. And then I looked over, and I think it was a woman. She pulled her covers down. When you're like under the covers and you go, who's that? She did one of those, but like with the side of her face. And then the one right next to me just kind of rolled over and took the covers off and looked at me. The last person didn't move at all. Within the middle of the song, all the covers were off of the sheets. I mean, all the sheets were off of their faces. They were looking. One guy, the last guy that I didn't talk about, I don't think he could move his arms correctly, so he kind of was trying to move his body like this over. And by the end of the song, every person was just moving a little bit more than they were before. And the guy looked at me and he goes, "See, I told you." And I was like, wow. In the moment where you feel like, well, I guess at any moment, you feel like you can be a catalyst for the moment, or you can take something that you have and light up the room. I mean, if you walked into, a concert venue and everyone was walking on the grass, and all of a sudden you you lit up like a blowtorch or a fire. Everyone would look at you like, what the hell? What is that? Holy cow. That's how I felt in that moment. And I always tell people that music is such a superpower that sometimes I don't even understand its power. Like I don't even understand how a specific vibration pushed out to people can do this thing that it does. I've seen it a million times and I still don't understand the depth of it because it goes so much deeper than we can comprehend, right? In that same day that I did that, I went into a room or I was about to go into a room and I asked this guy, what's this lady's story? I'm getting like a really weird vibe from her. He just happened to be there, one of the attendants. And he said, oh, this woman is, she used to be a police officer and she walked into a place that there was something bad happening and she got hit with a few bullets and she can't move her body. I was like, wow. I said, well, should I leave her alone? He goes, no, try and do it. And I remember going in and I said to her, hi, how are you? And she just kind of looked at me. And I said, I'm here to sing a song for you. And she didn't talk like full. She just went, and I was like, so you don't want me to sing for you? And she goes, and I was like, okay, well, nice to see you. Hope you have a great day. And she went, and I was like, wow, like just that intense moment that I had with her for there, it was like my mind and my heart was like, you should let me do the song. It's gonna make you feel better. And then I was like, oh, let me listen. Every room had a different vibration, right? And then lastly, I went into another room and the guy that was sitting up, or let me roll back a little bit. In between some of the rooms, I had like a personal emotional moment where something came into my head and I was thinking about someone and I got emotional and my voice said, Chase, stay in love, stay in the love space. You're giving your gift out, right? Just stay here, stay here. I was like, okay, stay in love. I'm spreading love. I'm all good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm not gonna be emotional. And when I walked into the room, there was a man. If he had stood up, I swear he was 6'7". The longest guy. He was just like a basketball player. I said, hey, how are you? And he said, hey, how are you? I said, good. I said, I'm gonna come and sing your song. He said, oh, great. I love music. He was like real animated. And when I looked up above his bed, there's a square with the person's name. And it said, be love. And I was like, oh gosh, this can't be happening right now. The guy said, what? He looked at me funny because he saw my face change. I said, your name is B Love? He goes, yeah, my name is Brandon. Nice to meet you, Brandon Love. I was like, whoa, whoa. Can you imagine in that moment that happening? I bring it right back to the music again. The music, a vibration of the music, to me, in my humble opinion, brought me to that area where I was getting that message, right? And that to me is powerful. So again, back to how I began this kind of connectivity, and I think I had a suggestion as well. I'm going to give you if you've never listened to these two things, I'm asking you to listen to it in your spare time. These are two classical suggestions. Even if you never listen to classical music, I want you to listen to these two things, right? One is Chopin's Fantasy in F minor. Chopin's Fantasy in F minor, right? And then the second one, oh, that's right, yes, is Stravinsky, Rite of Spring. Now, some of you might be saying, well, if I don't listen to classical music, why do I want to listen to that? I just suggest that you listen to both of those and let me know how you feel. We'll do a follow-up on it afterwards. Stravinsky, Rite of Spring, and Chopin's Fantasy in F minor. Again, when we speak about music and emotions transferred into vitality, the one thing about music that I'm so thankful for is that everyone has their own way of connecting to it, right? Well, people in New York, there's a radio station called WQXR, right? And the guy that I feel like he's the DJ all the time, but whatever. It's the way that you hear the music in the background and the guy's like WQXR New York. It's just like all this soft vibe, right? Changes me instantly. Instantly changes me instantly. Let me put this in the chat so everyone can understand this, or anyone can pick up those two things. Just want to make sure we all get it. Stravinsky. I think it's Rites of Spring or Rite of Spring. I hope I'm saying that right. Um, I've been listening to it for so long. There's one. And then Chopin. Fantasy in F minor. Yeah. I think it's spelled like that too, fantasy. So anyone like to chime in with anything that you are that's coming up for you with this topic? Okay, no problem. So
I would like to say again, Jay, something. Um, a few years ago, I'm standing in my kitchen. In my kitchen, I got a lot of inspiration. And I'm standing in my kitchen and I hear a song. I heard a song. And it was from from my childhood. While I was singing the song, I asked the question. I said, wow, I have not felt this much joy in
mm,
a long time. When I was hearing this song, that's what, in my, like, I don't know if I voiced it or if I just felt that strong statement.
right.
And suddenly it's like I'm hearing a download. Oh, the last time you felt that much joy, it was before someone started looking at you with those terrible eyes. And I connected that moment with a neighbor who was really, really unhappy with me as a child. Not, unfairly so, because I represented something. My dad was giving me, educating me, and her husband refused to educate her daughter. So she, in a way, hated me and used to look at me with these terrible eyes. Now it seems I took on whatever it is she projected, and
Of course.
my joy just about ceased at that moment. And the songs that one particular song had brought me so much joy, and I probably was, maybe young, maybe about 12 or 13. And at the time when I realized that I had not been so joyful, I was
Right.
about to, I think I was 60 already. Yes, I had never felt that kind of joy. And so that song actually, like open up something. Yes.
Right. Right. I mean, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. I have that experience, or I've had that experience with multiple songs. So thank you for
Yes.
that. So I'm with you completely. Cece.
Good morning. This is excellent. Music is like therapy to the soul. So thank you so much for sharing the
Yes, it is.
experiences and healing. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm putting another thing in the chat. Uh, this is one of my favorite CDs of all time. And it's not in English, it's in Italian, right? The name of the artist is Giorgia, right? Not Geo, but Giogia. And it's called Mangio troppo cioccolata, right? Which means eat lots of chocolate in Italian. And this particular recording I used to listen to when I was in Italy, I think is so beautiful for so many ways. It's uplifting and it makes me feel up. It gives me like I was saying, vitality. It feels like I'm just sliding through, going through. Again, you don't have to speak Italian to understand this CD, in my humble opinion. But I wanted to give you those things to listen to, and just let me know. As a matter of fact, you might even go as far as to listen to that last piece I gave you and look at what the translation is, because it might be very inspiring for you as well. Actually think of a particular person when I listened to that, because she introduced me to it as well. It's so funny, all the connections, right? All the neurological things that happen in our brain with music, the connectivity to a situation, to a person, to a food, to a place. It's all right there, and we get to touch it and feel it. But then at the same time, in an instant, something can change us in another direction. It just brings us in, and how long we stay there is up to us, which I just find fascinating. I think it's absolutely amazing. So I could talk about this for another half hour. I might need to come back and do this one more time, but I wanted to take a little bit of a sort of a different turn today and just like drop this in your lap, so that later on when it's happening, you'll get even more joy from it happening, because I believe that we're not thinking about it as much. Now that I've dropped it in your lap, you're going to feel it, or you're going to, when something's affecting you, it's going to do something a little differently now. Like when people say, well, you know, don't think about red cars today, and you go outside and there's red cars everywhere because you have that in your brain. I'm giving you that gift. I think it's going to be a gift for you, not a hindrance at all. So, and then once I introduce some of my original music to you all, then you'll be feeling the energy that I'm giving to you from my music, which is going to be fun as well. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. I can't wait. So once again, my good people, we are here each and every day. Please subscribe on our YouTube if you have not so far. We would love to have you here on a more regular basis. And as always, before we leave you with our tenets. Please, please love stronger than you have before, right? Live out loud. Move the body, right? Move it more than you have. Move it in a different direction. Move it in a different geographic, whatever you want. Move the body, right? We want you to eat more plant-based. Give it a shot. If you are a solid meat eater and you're like, no way, just give it a shot for a couple days. A little plant-based eating will not hurt you. Remember to sleep more than you think you should over the 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, which I'm still learning, but I'm doing better. I promise you I'm doing better, right? Laugh out loud intentionally. You know those moments where you see something? It actually happened to me yesterday. I was laughing so hard because a guy, I think his name, the guy JB Smooth, and I was watching a video with a good friend of mine, and I couldn't believe that feeling that I got from laughing really deep, where your stomach is like, oh my God, that's so fun. Like that kind of laugh, right? Do it. Let it out. Let it be part of you today. Challenge your assumptions, please. Everything your mind is telling you is definitely not right. I promise you. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. I always say that. I always think of Dr. Monica Ogando. Thank you for that. And my good people, have a spectacular day. I appreciate you all. We'll see you tomorrow once again in the Daily Huddle. Be well.
Excellent job. Thank you, Chase.
Thank you. Thank